recognises the honourable member for Bonavista.
Thank you, Madam Chair. It's a pleasure to get up here today and stand, and when it looks at the time, I may be the one closing the debate, which is kind of nice as well. But one thing I got to take exception to is the Stadler and Waldorf for the PC party, the member from CBS and the member from Cape St. Francis. Can't get up and talk about, we got no plan. We got no plan. Well, Madam Chair, this is a plan of 50 initiatives that we have. We have a number of things that were put out in Budget 2016 that got initiated.
Table the plan.
Oh, we can table the plan if you'd like to read it. And we got a bunch of these kicking around. But they talk about us not having a plan.
Order, please. Order, please.
We got a bunch kicking around, so they're laughing. They think it's a big joke in the supply when we just said they faced a $2.7 billion deficit. But 50 pieces of action that we have here in the way forward, Madam Chair. So I'm going to talk a little bit about 3 of them right now. And so first one, 1.17, transition to groundfish. Action 1.18, implementation of regional innovation systems and pilot projects. And action 2.9, support growth in the aquaculture industry. So what I'm getting at with these 3 is support that we have for our fishery. So, and one other that we brought forward, and they won't talk about all this stuff and how we have a plan. This is one I really like that we talked about yesterday, Madam Chair, is Action 1.12, enhance access to Crown land. So these are all big actions that we have in the way forward that helps the District of Bonavista, helps the people of the District of Bonavista. So when they talk about not having a plan, it's foolishness. They would know about not having a plan. They didn't have a plan for Muskrat Falls, which initially they said was only going to cost $5–6 billion. Couldn't give a good budget on. Now it's double that, Madam Chair. And they certainly didn't have a plan for their $280 million Phantom Fisheries Fund. And this is where I'm going with this. Fishery in the District of Bonavista has always been a vital industry, and we still see it today. From 1497, when John Cabot threw the basket over to Matthew and hauled up fish, to right now, the fishery is of vital importance to the District of Bonavista, I would say, Madam Chair. So I'm going to give you a little bit of history on the Phantom Fisheries Fund that the PCs put out in October of 2013. Now, I'm going to tell you a little bit about it. Then I'm going to talk about the $100 million that we received that was announced this past Friday as the Fisheries Investment Fund from our friends from Ottawa. So they went out and got a Phantom Fisheries Fund, which no one ever seen the money. We got a commitment of $100 million, and that's just to start with. They talk about not trusting Minister Judy Foote. Talk about not trusting Minister Judy Foote. She got up and the member from Cape St. Francis was there. She got up and said there's more to come. So they have land-based us about not getting the whole $280 million. Hey, if Judy Foote says there's more to come, who might disagree? So, in October of 2013, here's what the PCs did. They booked the rooms, threw a big party. They brought out all the good grub, right? They popped the champagne, brought in their entire caucus, announced that they received $280 million from the Frids, and then they patted themselves on the back like Barry Horowitz. And I believe they even went to Dairy Queen and got a cake, an ice cream cake that said a $ with 280 M on it. I don't know if that's true, but that's what I heard. Now, the only problem, Madam Chair, is that the feds didn't show up. Now, Madam Chair, I'm going to ask you a question, Madam Chair. Have you ever gone to an announcement where there's federal money on the table and someone from the federal government never turned up? Never. Me either. And I've only been at this for about 15 months. And actually, I get an invitation all the time. So here's two things I figured had happened. Either the invitation got lost in the mail, or Stephen Harper and his buddies threw it in the garbage. And I think it was later. So they set up this big party, the big announcement. A month later, they put in a PMR talking about how good this $280 million that they're getting from the feds were. Now, the member from Mount Pearl Southlands, and I'm not going to, because he came out and said he was hoodwinked on the Muskrat Falls, and I appreciate it. He was great. And I think he was hoodwinked on that fishery fund as well. So after they had their big party, talked about it in their PMR, bragged it right up, there is no response from the feds. In fact, Madam Chair, the federal government actually emailed the Department of Fisheries and Agriculture and told them to stop using the Canadian government branding. You can't make this stuff up, Madam Chair. So, phone calls were unanswered in Ottawa. 3.5 premiers later, the former premier, who sits over there right now, went up there with his buddies. The doors were locked, Madam Chair, and they were left out in the corner of Elgin Street, grumbling about it in the rain. So, they got nothing. This past Friday, we actually worked with our federal counterparts to deliver the $100 million. And as Minister Judy Foote said, that's not the end of it. This is just the start. And the reason why this is just the start is because we need to work with our key stakeholders. We are going to work with our key stakeholders. So what's $100 million mean to Newfoundland and Labrador? So we have innovation. And you looked at Budget 2016, and it provided a Seafood Innovation and Transition Program. And that provided $2 million to 41 fisheries and aquaculture-related projects, leveraging $3.7 million from industry and funding partners. So if you take the small amount that we used and leveraged for 41 projects, just imagine what $100 million can do. And you talk about the $100 million. And like I said, this is not it. We always had to be using plan, do, check, and adjust. And this is a fluid thing, because we can't take $280 million and what they had planned on doing, give it to fishermen who are going to be out of jobs. We want to work to grow our industry, Madam Chair. So what you also have from this $100 million is a transition from shellfish to groundfish. And as you see the shrimp and crab stocks going down right now, you're seeing an increase in the cod fishery. So research and development, new ways to conduct our fishery, and also aquaculture. And our key stakeholders who actually came out and said this was a good thing was FFAW, processors and harvesters, all on the same page, saying this money is good money for this province. So with crab and shrimp down, it makes challenges. So how do we transition from shellfish to groundfish? This is where this money could come in to get plants upgraded to do secondary processing in the cod fishery. The biggest thing that the fishermen tell me about the cod fishery last year is they went from 5,000 pounds in 2015 that they could catch to 2,000 pounds a week. However, they never had a means to process all that fish, so they had to stop. They could have kept going. There's lots out there, but they had to give up. So what we need to do is get back to our traditional groundfish, supplement that with our shellfish, and this fisheries fund is going to help that. So what also came out of that fisheries fund, the Atlantic Canadian Fisheries Fund, is $30 million, which is separate from the $100 million that we're getting for marketing, because the market right now, Madam Chair, demands a higher quality cod product. And if we can get that higher quality cod product to market, we're increasing our already $1.4 billion fishery here in Newfoundland and Labrador. So the days of cod block and salt fish are gone by, people want a better quality. So I'm very excited about the $100 million fisheries fund. We know there's more to come. Contrary to what they're going to say, thank you, Madam Chair.